can't wait any longer. The unhoused and the housed are suffering. In terms of the unhoused, we have the highest per capita unsheltered rate in the nation now in Portland, except for a few cities in California. A moniker we don't want to have. The highest in the nation. Doesn't that take your breath away on how far we've fallen? We have 4,000 unsheltered that are going to live on our street tonight. And it's increased 1,000 souls in the last year. 400 of those are going to die this year. So as you leave this venue and you drive back to your homes, wherever you're from, I would say it's almost guaranteed that you're going to see somebody suffering on the side of the road. Know that 1 out of every 10 souls you see will not be here at the end of the year. So we talk about compassion fatigue. I hear that a lot. People are just stopping caring. We've reached that point where we're so overwhelmed, we start to wall up. We stop giving our time, our money, and our hearts. We don't know what to do. And stories abound. We hear them all the time. I am a board member for a wonderful group called Word is Bond. We mentor young black men, and we have and give them hope for the future. I do our first year camping trip. It's a 3-year program. And I take them all to Lost Lake, my favorite place in the world. 12, 14 young black kids that had never camped before. And we go around the campfire and we tell our mantras, our goals in life. What do we want? These kids should be talking about the first car they want to buy, or the girl they want to date, or the job they want, or what they're going to be doing this summer. We get around the circle and we get to Alex. Alex's mother is homeless, living on the streets here in Portland. He lives with his aunt. And Alex's only goal at that moment was he just wants to live to be 21. Sit with that for a moment. Put yourself in his place. When you were young, what you were doing and how much hope you had for the future. And his hope is to live 4 years. The part of that story, unfortunately, gets worse. He lived, but 2 months ago he shot another boy near here. So while he is alive, his life has ended for the foreseeable future because he's being tried as an adult. So it breaks your heart twice. And these are young men that you want to invest in. If that's our city, if that's the hope we're producing for our young people, again, what have we become? And then there's my neighbor across the street, Elizabeth. I've watched her grow up from age 5 to 30, a beautiful young lady. She's addicted to fentanyl. She's living downtown. She's in a tent tonight. And the tent was given to her by our city. The city's going to sweep her, and the tent will be right behind the people who take away her tent and give her another tent. That's perverse support. That is irrational. There's no care. That's misguided compassion. If anything at all, I'll leave to you that there's no sensibility in that at all. And then, talking about high school, I was in Lens Park last year doing what's called the homeless count. We go out and we do a census on who they are, what their needs are, where they came from, and what we can do to provide care. I'm going through the questionnaire for the county, and I'm interviewing a homeless person. And I asked her, where's she from? And she says, well, I'm from Portland. I said, oh, really? I said, what high school did you go to? She said, Roosevelt. I look up, and I went to high school with her. So my point to each and every one of you, these are not faceless, nameless people that don't have lives and hope and hearts. These are your neighbors.
Right.
And so doing nothing is not a course of action. So you can certainly understand why I'm in it. I am not filled with compassion fatigue. I'm filled with hope and caring. And I will challenge you to know that. I will challenge you and say it's not compassion fatigue, it's helplessness fatigue. We don't know what to do. We're sick and tired of feeling sick and tired. We just need an outlet. We just need something, some action to give back. But I'm here to tell you there's hope. There's hope because there's a simple superpower to helplessness fatigue. It's taking action. And that's all we need to do. No matter how small it is, no matter what kernel of hope or where you provide, is we don't give up when we take action. 6 years ago, I decided to take action. So I own and operate an extraordinary business. I have a lot of team members here. we've built a culture of quality, safety, and sustainability where we don't use any fossil fuel in Oregon. People told us that you can't do that. People have told us that you can't do these certain things. You can't achieve that. Well, I'll tell you, the more I get to know, the more I realize I'm onto something. We have the first fleet of electric trucks in Oregon. We have received 2 National Innovator of the Year awards over this last 2 years. We are the highest performing transportation company in the nation, arguably. And amongst all that success, thank you. And among all that success, I'm surrounded by abject poverty and people dying on the street. What kind of success truly is that when it's wrapped in misery? And so we jumped in and started helping. I travel regionally, nationally, and globally. And I chose that every time I traveled somewhere, I was going to call the mayor, a county commissioner, or a federal government official. And you know what? They always picked up. And then I started not only going to business meetings, but I started walking and talking to communities that had ended in sheltered homelessness. Because I wanted to know more. Because if you're going to innovate, you have to understand what's out there first. Don't create something that's new when it's already been done over and over and over again. That's the secret of my success. Right? You just grab the best ideas and then scale it up. And in so doing, I've been able to create friends and experts from around the world. I have a 10-person leadership council now of mayors, county officials, and federal officials who've all ended in shelter homelessness. And they've all agreed to come and help me here in Portland end in shelter homelessness in Portland. Because they want to help us. Because they wanted to help us achieve. So now, that's the high level. So now you gotta try things. So the through line was sleeping on this floor as a 3 and a 4-year-old. And sleeping on the floor at LaGuardia Airport led me to start sleeping on floors around Portland, because that's how you understand. So I am very aware that TriMet's numbers are plummeting. It's unsafe. People are frightened. The parking garages are surrounded by tents. I called up the senior managers at TriMet and I said, I got an idea. A friend gave me an idea. I'm going to convert one of your parking rides to a shelter. And you know, again, Doug Kelsey and Sam Jitsu just said, we're in. Which one do you want to use? If that's not crazy, I don't know what is. I did ask my wife to come and stay with me at night. She said, absolutely not. I love you, but I'm not doing that. I tried it. But we thought to ourselves, as a society, if we can shelter cars in a more humane fashion than sheltering people, who are we? Right? So I tried it on my birthday, October of 2020, and it worked. I talked to the city, and the city said, now let's try it, let's scale it up. So we took the Metro parking garage on the coldest day of the year in 2021. Had 8 volunteers there to try it, had 30 homeless souls living in there. We brought in propane heaters, and oh my God, did that fail. I almost killed 8 volunteers that night. It was so cold. I reported back, can't do it. Again, but you try, you fail fast, you improve, and you try again. But don't give up, because people are dying on the street. We have to continue and move on. So Matt Huff, a very good friend of mine, he's a pastor of a church. I said, Matt, you know, I've noticed around the world, faith-based organizations or repurposed assets, like this floor is a severe winter shelter that we're on right now. This is a shelter on the coldest days of the night. And I thought to myself, the coldest days of the night, people need to be helped 365, not just when it's 15 degrees out. So I wanted to try it. Matt Huff said, come on in. We moved the pews aside. I asked homeless friends to come in because I wanted to interview them throughout the course of the night. We sheltered, we moved the pews back, and it worked. So Matt and I created a nonprofit called Shelter Portland. And our goal is to scale this, to set up a network of nighttime shelters to help Portlanders. And we're having tremendous success. In fact, we have a commitment from 4 facilities now have loaned. Lance Orton in the row back there. And Lance Orton is the executive director for City Team. He has been helping shelter our most vulnerable for years. Everybody, this works, I need your help. And he says, I'm in. I have a facility that's coming due in a couple months. I'm in, and I will staff it. It's that simple. We can't think it's difficult when it comes to caring for our neighbor. We don't need to spend money to care for our neighbors. My shelter is operating tonight in Southeast Portland. We're going to care for 45 souls. Many of them are going to serve your coffee, your breakfast, and your lunches tomorrow, because many of them are going to, that's our workforce. The extraordinary thing about that is after we costed everything, $17 per person per night and help care for our neighbors. And the really drop the mic, walk off the stage moment is a Safe Rest Village. It's going to cost $189 per person per night. That is amazing. We can shelter somebody on the street tonight for 1/10 of what the city is costing, and we don't need 18 months to set it up. We can have them set up in 18 days. We can do this with the facilities we have, with the flexibility, and do it low cost, easily. But that's only one part of it. So sheltering people at night is only one half of the equation. We need day shelters during the day because we need to help individuals become housing ready. What was the root cause in the first place? So I have my first day shelter opening up so I can learn how to do it in 3 weeks on Southeast 82nd Avenue. It's an extraordinary large facility because just caring for people at night, we must have a warm handoff during the day to find out that root cause. And so that's an extraordinary accomplishment for us as well. So in the main point on this, we are going to swarm and solve and end unsheltered homelessness immediately. The first day I take office, I have a plan, I have the team, and we're ready to implement that on day one. Friends, real change is going to be on the ballot this year. I am going to end unsheltered homelessness. I am going to care and provide the basic need for our neighbors. On your worst day, you will never end up on the street in the city that I'm mayor on. I have a plan. I have the experience of getting results, and I'm asking you for your support. You are no longer helpless. You have a superpower. It is time to take action. Together, we will repair, restore, and revitalize our city. Let's roll up our sleeves and let's get to work. Thank you.
How about Mr. Wilson?